Hare Ram, Ram
Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
Ram, Ram
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances, all the devotees on the call. Please forgive me for stopping your chanting in the middle. It's time for our Srimad Bhagvatam session. So I would like to read a quote on chanting. In the Harinama Chintamani, Thakur Haridasa explains the importance of constantly chanting. Avisranta name nama aparada jaya. Tahe aparada kabusthana nahi paya. Only by continuous chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra can the 10 offenses against the name be obliterated. Another advantage of constant chanting is that the 10 offenses will not be able to again implicate the chanter. Continuous chanting, Avisranta Nama, only one who chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with great feeling all the time during the day and night, except during the time required for fulfilling the most basic bodily necessities like sleep, etc., is able to successfully destroy the 10 offenses. The 10 offenses to chanting cannot be obliterated by any other kind of pious activity or atonement. Hare Krishna. Once again, my Dandavat pranams to all the devotees on the call. May I know who all have joined the call?
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Pooja from Sydney.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Nikunja Rasadas from Germantown.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna. Sorry. Yeah, please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, good morning. This is Satish from Rockville, Maryland.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna, Vanmalini Manjari Mataji and all the assembled devotees. Dandavat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shamarasika Devidasi from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. This is Mahendra Das.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is KalaNidhi Keshav from Delhi.
Hare
All
Krishna
glories to Srila
Prabhu.
Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. I welcome all to Everyday Chant Harinam conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace KalaNidhi Keshav Das Prabhu from Delhi to enlighten us on verse 55 of Canto 6, Chapter 14. Prabhuji, if you are ready, please take over the call.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So again, I welcome all the devotees for this morning Bhagavatam class. Please pray for me so that I can glorify Bhagavatam and Krishna and my Guru Maharaj. So today's verse is very special, and this chapter in overall is very special. So we'll study the verse and then study the synonyms and purport. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriet Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Nashtaki. So today's verse is Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 6, Chapter 14, verse number 55. Nahi karmas cheda iha mritya janmanoha sharirinam astu tat atma karma bhihi ya sneha pasho nij sargavriddheya swayam krataste tvam imam vivashyasi. Nahi karmaschedi iha mrityu janmanaho sharirinam astu tad atma karma bhihi yah sneha pasho nij sarga vridheya swayam kartaste tam imam vivashyasi. Nahi karmasched iha mritya janmanaho sharirinam astu tad atma karma bhihi yah sneha pasho nij sarga vridheya swayam kartaste tam imam vivasyahi. Synonym: no, not, he, indeed, karmaha, in a chronological order, chet, if, iha, in this material world, mrityu, of death, janmanoho, and of birth, sharirinam, of the conditioned soul who have accepted material bodies, astu, let it be, tat, that, atma karma bhi, by the results of one's karma, fruitive activities, yah, that which, sneha pasha, bondage of affection, nij sarga, your own creation, vidhaye, to increase, swayam, personally, kritaha, made, te, by you, tam, that, imam, this, vivash, chasi, you are cutting. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My Lord, you may say that there is no law that a father must die in the lifetime of his son, and that a son must be born in the lifetime of his father, since everyone lives and dies according to his own fruitive activity. However, if fruitive activity is so strong that birth and death depend upon it, there is no need of a controller or God. Again, if you say that a controller is needed because the material energy does not have the power to act, one may answer that if the bonds of affection you have created are disturbed by fruitive actions, no one will raise children with affection. Instead, everyone will cruelly neglect his children, since you have cut the bonds of affection that compel a parent to raise his child. You appear inexperienced and unintelligent. Purport: as stated in the Brahma Samhita, Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. One who has taken to Krishna consciousness, devotional service is not affected by the results of karma. In this verse, karma has been stressed on the basis of karma mimamsa philosophy, which says that one must act according to his karma and that a supreme controller must give the results of karma. The subtle laws of karma, which are controlled by the supreme, cannot be understood by ordinary conditioned souls. Therefore, Krishna says that one who can understand him and how he is acting, controlling everything by subtle laws, immediately becomes freed by his grace. That is the statement of Brahma Samhita, Karmani Nirdhati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam. One should take to devotional service without reservations and surrender everything to the supreme will of the Lord. That will make one happy in this life and the next. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Swapadamtakam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakam Lam Shri Gurun Yashnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagan Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadavetam Savadhutam Prajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitansha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्त वेदांत स्वामिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देश तारिणे। So again we are turning to this verse and this chapter. So this is chapter 14 and here we see it's a very exciting journey here. So we see, or we have already read about Vritasura. So he's a demon and he's a devotee. So our Parishit Maharaj is actually compelled to ask, how is this possible? Because Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says that a devotee is very rare. So if something is that rare, then how it is to be found in a demoniac society? So how a demon can be a devotee? So then comes this whole story of Chitraketu, right? And we are here currently studying it, right? So when Bhagavatam is actually glorified in the first canto itself, so it says Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam. So it is the ripened fruit of all Vedic literature, right? And Muhur Aho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavka, and it is to be tasted by the Rasika Bhaktas. So it is very tasteful. But often we read stories in Bhagavatam that may seem to be very distasteful, right? Here, just like we are studying here, that there's a story of a couple or parents who have just lost their children. I hope you all know the context here. So here we have Maharaj Chitraketu, who is later he is to be born as Vritasura. So currently he is Maharaj Chitraketu. He is a great personality with among the Vidyadharas. So he's very great, very and he has all the opulences. Everything is there. No shortage of anything. And if we study the verses in this chapter itself, it says he had tens of millions of wives. So everything is incomplete or full, right? But there was only one thing that was lacking, and that was he had no son, and that's why he was very depressed. Right. So when we say Chitra Ketu, Chitra itself means Chitra, like it's a Hindi word or Sanskrit word, let's say Devanagari. So it says Chitra means a form, specific form, and Ketu means like obviously depression or depressed, right? So it's a multifarious depression, and we say throughout his life is like whole life in depression, right? Although finally he surrenders to devotees like Narada Muni, and then again by the curse of Mata Parvati, gets his next life as a demon, but again ultimately goes back to back to Godhead. But here we see that the whole life is very depressing, right? So Bhagavatam, on one side we are talking about that it is very tasteful, but it is narrating stories which may seem to be very distasteful, right? Very sorrowful. So one may think like how taste to be derived from sorrows, from pain. So the thing is that Bhagavatam is actually presenting us the reality of this world. Here we see that Maharaj Chitraketu had tens of millions of wives, but still he is not happy. So the key lesson here is that material world, or rather in other words, it actually representing the futility of this material world. Even if you have everything, you won't be happy in this world. Dukhale mashashvatam, Krishna mentions. So you cannot be happy in this world, even if you have everything. He has tens of millions of wives, and then but no progeny. And then by the mercy of a devotee of the Lord Rishi Angira, he gets a son, and his son's name is Harsha Shoka. Right? Harsh in Hindi, like Harsh in English, it means happiness, and Shoka means lamentation. So simultaneously, this progeny, this son, will give them happiness as well as sorrow. Like how it is revealed in the chapter itself. So this child is now born to the mother Krityadyuti, and all other wives are not happy about it, because now the king is not able to give his time to all her queens, right? And this is the materialistic tendency. You cannot satisfy everyone, and especially like when you have tens of millions of wives, you cannot satisfy. Like mundane people, even like they fail to satisfy even one wife, right? So here he has tens of millions of wives. So how to satisfy? And others, they are becoming envious, and they ultimately poison the child, and the child dies. So we are seeing here the demoniac nature of the wives, right? So in an ideal situation, their husband was not happy because he was not having a son. Ultimately, he got one son, so they should have driven or got their happiness by saying that we are happy because our husband is happy actually. But no, this everything in the material world revolves around me, I, right? So although now the king was happy, but the wives were thinking about themselves, that now we are not being taken care of, we are not being given the importance. So everything is revolving around I, and that actually results in poisoning of this child, Harsh Shoka. And now this both husband wife Krityadyuti and Chitraketu are very sorrowful, very depressed, and as we see in the Hindi movies or Bollywood movies, when something happens, they blame God for that, and it's the same thing happening here, right? So whenever something bad happens, people say, why me? But if you are getting something, if you are getting a pay hike, or if you are getting $1,000, then you say like, it's because of me. Like I worked for it, so that's why I got it, right? It is because of me. But as soon as something bad happens, they target Krishna. Why Krishna is doing this? So this is the same kind of mentality we are getting to see here, right? So here we see Kataduti is actually saying that, and he's actually referring to the God or Krishna, directly or indirectly. So she's saying like, on one hand, you are saying that this is my creation and you are parents, so you should take care of your children, right? And for that, obviously, parents have affection for their children, right? It cannot happen that parents don't have affection for their children. So it's very usual. That's why the word that is Kitaduti is saying is Nija Sarga. This is your own creation, right? And you have created this bondage or this affection, right? So we are just contributing. So how is this possible that we contribute in your creation and we don't get that bondage, we don't get affection for our children? But on the other side, Vivashasi, you are cutting this bondage, right? So Kitaduti Mata is actually saying that on one side you are saying that you are a parent, you need to take care of your children, and you should have affection for your children. On the other side, you are taking this child away from me. So what kind of management is this? And she is specifically saying that you appear to be inexperienced and unintelligent, right? So directly she's saying to Krishna like, okay, this is your creation, you are doing everything, but you are not experienced, you are not intelligent, right? Because why she's saying that? She is not literal, but in the situation, these words are coming out of her. And the thing that we can derive here is, one thing is duality of this material world, right? So everything good comes with a bad face, and everything bad comes with a good face, right? This is duality in the material world, Dvandva. And it is very difficult to cross that Dvandva unless we take shelter of the devotees, or we take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? We will learn, like in the same chapter, we'll learn that because of that Dvandva, now Maharaj Chitraketu will take shelter of the devotees, and like he'll be taken care of, like devotees will take care of everything. Like he will become a great personality, then obviously because of something she get cursed and turns into a demon, right? But ultimately he is reaching the abode of the God. And that too, like somebody can ask like, okay, he got association of the devotees, he got everything, then how, like why he was cursed by Mata Parvati to become a demon, right? So this is just to, like, sometimes Krishna plans things in a way that let's say Maharaj Chitraketu is there, he lost his son, and then Nag Muni comes with Maitreya Rishi and Angira Rishi, and Chitraketu gets their association and goes back to Godhead, right? This is a very simple journey. Nobody will remember Chitraketu in that sense, right? But now we see the roller coaster ride. Chitraketu, very exalted personality he becomes, and then again he falls down into a demon, and then this is Krishna's arrangement. And now, as devotees, we all know about Maharaj Chitraketu Vartasura. So this is just to glorify. So sometimes to glorify his devotees, Krishna makes such kind of arrangements that devotees go through tribulations and tests, so that more of their devotional attitude comes out. And here we see beautiful prayers of Vritasura, like that last that we like actually read earlier. So sometimes like these are Krishna's arrangement, right? But in general, if you're not taking shelter of devotees or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's Dvandva, and it's very difficult. And Krishna obviously like advises us. Here Krishna is actually advising us in Bhagavad Gita as well. Krishna is advising us when he says Matra Spashtu Kaunteya Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha Agam Apaino Nityas Tam Stitikshashva Bharata. Right? So there will always be duality in this world. Sukha Dukkha, Sita Ushna, winter, summer. This will keep on coming and going. Right? There will always be duality. So what is the solution? The solution here is Krishna provides titikshva, that you learn to tolerate. So this is the only way out. We must learn to tolerate and take shelter of devotees. So that is of paramount importance. If you have shelter of devotees, like as Prabhupada is actually mentioning here in the purport, if we see that Prabhupada is actually mentioning about that Mata Krityaditi is actually talking about a philosophy called Karma Mimamsa. Now this Karma Mimamsa philosophy, if you remember, also comes in another place. It's in Krishna book, right? And Krishna also talks about Karma Mimamsa philosophy during the Govardhan Leela, which was like yesterday only. It was there. It was celebrated. So there also like Krishna talks about Karma Mimamsa. So if you have done something, you will get for it. Right? There is no controller. So here Mata Krityaditi is also mentioning the same kind of things because of limitation, obviously because of the sorrow that she is facing. But that duality always remains until we take shelter of the devotees and change our attitude. Right? So, for example, like we have very famous verse in Srimad Bhagvatam in 10th canto, let me recall. Tatya anukampam susamikshimano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hrid vad vapur bhi hrid vad vapur. So hrid is hriday, heart, vak is through speech, and vapu is through body. So by all the means, vidadhan namaste, we need to serve the Lord. And if you are doing it, then the person becomes Dai Bhag. You remember this verse? It's a very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me open the translation for it as well. Just a minute. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offerings, and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Right? So if you, again, the word that is coming here is tam stitikshashva. Right? So again, the titiksha word is coming here, which is again, we need to learn to tolerate these things. So unless we learn to tolerate, as Prabhupada is mentioning here in the purport as well for this verse, I'm reading the purport of our verse for today again. So Prabhupada is mentioning here, the subtle laws of karma, which are controlled by the Supreme, cannot be understood by ordinary conditioned souls. So it is not easy for normal conditioned souls to understand. Right? Therefore, Krishna says that one who can understand him and how he is acting, controlling everything by subtle laws, immediately becomes freed by his grace. So again, like Prabhupada is referring to one very famous verse from Bhagavad Gita ji, and that is Janma karma cha me divyam evam yote veti tatvatah tyakta deham puranjanma naiti mameti so arjuna. Janma karma cha me divyam. My janma, my birth, and karma, my activities, are transcendental. And once who knows it in full, he comes back to me. Krishna is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita as well, right? And what is the way to understand that is by the association of devotees. So here, from this verse, we can understand some very simple facts about life, about material world. The one thing that we discussed is the futility of this material world. So it's futile. Even if you have everything, you cannot be happy. As Chitraketu Maharaj has had everything, but he was not happy. Second thing that we can focus on as a learning is that when you become delirious, when you have no hopes, and you surrender to devotees of the Lord, then you get liberated. And we see here from the example of Chitraketu Maharaj that he takes shelter of Narad Muni, Angira Rishi, and then becomes very exalted. Third thing that we learned is this material world is full of dualities. So with every good thing, there comes a bad thing, and with every bad thing is attached a good thing. We learn it from the example of Chitraketu Maharaj itself. So what bad thing happened to Chitraketu Maharaj? So he lost his son, right? What bad can happen to any person, right? Those of us who are parents, we are very much attached to our children. So even if small injury is there, we become very anxious, right? So here he lost his son. This is a grave loss. But then what he is getting? He is getting the mercy of the Lord. So this is how the material world is. But the only criteria is we need to surrender, right? And fourth thing is that when we come in association of the devotees, our attitude toward miseries change, right? And that there we studied about the verse from the 10th canto, where we studied that the mood of a devotee is that if he gets a cut in his hand, he will say, "Oh Krishna, thank you for this cut, the small cut. I think I deserve worse than this," right? So I think because of my bad reactions, because of my bad karma, I was to die at this moment. But with your compassion, with your mercy, it's just a small cut that I got, right? So this is the mood of a devotee, and to harbor this mood, we have to be in association of devotees always, right? Otherwise, we can also learn one thing from this chapter. If we don't surrender to devotees, then we fall toward the demonic nature, right? What was done by the wives of Chitraketu. So they were lacking some attention. They were not having that good association of devotees, and what they did, they actually murdered the child. So these are some of the points that we can think about while studying this verse here. Now, another topic that was given to me, and considering the time as well, is about Damodar Leela. We can take the comments and questions later on. I'm just completing. Sorry. So while we are studying Damodar Leela, right, I'm reminded of another very beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is a very special verse in Bhagavatam. We all should learn it by heart, because many of our acharyas have always used this verse to establish that bhakti is topmost. And this verse is Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, 20th verse. And it says, Nasadhyati mam yogo, na sankyam dharma uddhava, na swadhyaya tapastyago, yatha bhaktar mamorarjita. Right? It's very simple. Na sadhyati. Sadhyati means controlled. Na means nahi. No. Na sadhyati mam yogo. So I cannot be controlled with yoga. Right? Na sankyam. I cannot be controlled with sankhya yoga. Dharma. Dharma means pious activities. I cannot be controlled by pious activities. So if somebody is thinking that I do pious activities and I can control Krishna, it's not possible. Krishna is refuting that. Na swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means self-study. Reading of literature, reading of shastras, reading of Vedas. If you think by studying Vedas, you can get me, not possible, Krishna is saying here. Na tapas. By tapasya you can get me? No. You can control me? No. Na tyaga. By giving away something, you can get me? No. Yatha bhaktir mamorjita. But you can get me, you can control me through bhakti only. So this is a very beautiful verse. And why I chose this verse for Damodar Leela is because the testimony of this verse is Damodar Leela. Right? So we know how as devotees, we know we are into this Damodar month or Kartik month. It's very dear to Radharani. And again, this is the testimony of this verse. Right? So we all know how the things they go. The milk is boiling, and Mother Yashoda is feeding Krishna. But anyway, the milk is boiling, and as any normal person, as any normal household wife, she has to take care of the milk as well. And when she sees that the milk is boiling and it will spill over, so she puts Krishna aside and goes to attend the boiling milk. But Krishna here is actually showing she's very frustrated because he is not done. He still has some he's still needing that affection, that milk of her mother. So he is still requiring that, and he is very frustrated. Oh, my mother left me for something else. So he is now very frustrated. So what he does, he broke a pot full of butter. Right? And now Yashoda Mata comes, she sees that this is the mischief of Krishna, and then with a stick in her hand, she chases Krishna and get hold of him, and then she tries to tie Krishna with a rope. And here comes the name of one great name of Krishna that appears here is Damodar. When Hindi, it's called Dam is the rope, right? And Udar means belly. So we are actually into Krishna consciousness, into this family of Srila Prabhupada, are worshipping a god who was tied by ropes, by the belly, right? And we are worshipping that god. But it doesn't mean that somebody may say what kind of god is that? A simple woman can tie that person. How can he be supreme personality of Godhead? Right? But Krishna is actually providing the testimony to this verse. Right? He is not bound by ropes. He is bound by love. So Mother Yashoda could bind Krishna through her love. Right? So these were simple cowherd people, and Mother Yashoda had many ropes in her household, because like obviously they would be tying animals and cows and other milk giving animals. So they would be having many like bundles of ropes, right? And Mother Yashoda is dressing Krishna every day, so she knows like what is the size of her belly, right? She's always tying something on her belly, always we are like dressing him with dhoti and everything, so she knows like what is the size. But here we see she's trying to bind Krishna, but is not able to. Every time she's trying to bind Krishna, the rope is 2 fingers short. She gets another rope, attaches it to the existing rope, makes it little larger, again tries, and again the rope is 2 fingers short. So now she's perspiring, her hairs have loosened, and she's very tired, but she's still trying. She's still persevering. She's still doing her activities, right? It's not like she gives up. No, it's not possible. Morning program for me, not possible. For that, I need to get up at 4:30. Not possible for me. No, she's doing her duty, although she's very tired, right? Imagine a person like who's trying to tie a person, has like got many ropes from across her household, again tying, like attaching it to the existing ropes, and again trying to tie the child. It was really very tiring, but she never gives up. And then Krishna decides that my mother is very tired now, and still she's trying, so let me be bound by her love. This is Damodar Leela. And Acharya say that the 2 finger short concept is actually 1 finger represents our efforts, right? So how much efforts we are making, and the another finger, it shows Krishna's mercy, Krishna Kripa. So for us to get to Krishna, these 2 things are required. One thing is our approach, our hard work, our perseverance, and another thing is Krishna Kripa. So can we get Krishna by our own efforts? No. Can we get Krishna by our own chanting? No. By our devotional service? No. So should we stop that? No, because that is also mandatory. It is one of the fingers. And then we can aspire for Krishna Kripa. Often Acharyas and even Prabhupada, in many of his purports, relates this to the monkey child and the cat child, right? The monkey child is actually trying to get hold of his mother by like on his own strength, right? And the whole scenario is very like you can say like it can drop down any time, right? But when we see a cat, so a cat carries the kitten through his mouth, so and it's very safe in that sense, right? So devotees, being devotees, being Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are not saying that I can get Krishna on my own account, on my own strength. I can get Krishna, I can bound Krishna. No, but I should be doing my 100%, and then I can aspire for Krishna's mercy. And the kind of love here is that I cannot demand for that, right? As we like in the morning program, we like Shiksha come. We see like Gaurang Mahaprabhu says like you can hug me, you can or you can trample me like under your feet, but you will be my Lord, right? So we need to harbor that mood. We can pray to Damodar Bhagwan, we can pray to Krishna, we can pray to senior devotees, Vaishnavas, that we get this mood, that we never stop our perseverance in service of the Lord. Right? Someday Krishna will become merciful, he will give his mercy, but our endeavors to please Krishna should not stop, should never stop. This is the message of Damodar Lila, and that's why it is called Urja Vrat. And that's why devotees make vows in this world, in this month, that they will do certain number of Mangala Aartis, they will do some, they will forego certain like activities, like they will do parikrama, right? So they are increasing their endeavors to get Krishna. And that is the message of Damodar month. So at least what we should be doing is, we have a very like, and we know like all the devotees across the globe, like they are chanting, they are singing the Damodar Ashtakam during this month every evening. It's a very famous song by Satyavati Muni and comes in Padma Purana. Namami Ishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundala. So very, very famous song. We all do deep dan, show light to the God and to Krishna, and sing this beautiful song. We go to Dham Yatra, but basic things we can do, at least if our situations are not aligned, then at least the deep dan we can perform. Like it can be performed by anyone, right? So no major resources are required for that. So, and we see like devotees are doing that. We should try to get association of devotees as much as we can during this month. We should increase our endeavors to please Krishna. At least like we know like there are 2 fingers short, but at least we can provide for that 1 finger. The rest depends on Krishna. So okay, so we are stopping here. Hare Krishna. Thank you for listening so patiently. Don't know like what I have said, but yeah, I was just trying to praise Bhagavatam and devotees. Forgive me for any kind of offenses. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. It was wonderful and very nectarian class, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, then yes.
As when let go, it was like our effort should always be going on that. But Krishna says Krishna's demands are so high. By Mahaprabhu's mercy, it is more accessible to us for the fallen souls of the Kali Yuga. Otherwise, Krishna is Sarvadharman Parityajya Ekam Saranam Braja, and then Anannas Chintantam Mam Yajana Paripasate, or Sattam Kittantam Mam. So these are very, very demanding, only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, by the backdoor key that is available with Srila Prabhupada and Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission, Nitai's mercy, and of course Radharani's blessings. and then that we are able to get somehow near Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna is so dullab, so it's so difficult to obtain. That demands are so high. Just as I'm trying to reflect on based on what is what we discussed. Yes, efforts and the Vaishnava Mercy, which will attract Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. So I think we can stop here then, and till we meet next time. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam. Vancha kalptarubhesha kripa sindhu bhayevcha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
कोटि वैष्णव की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। थैंक यू सो हिज ग्रेस कलानिधि केशव प्रभु जी की जय।
Jai.
थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you.